All right. Thank you, everyone. This is session number 3. So thank you for joining us again today. Today is going to be a good one. We have a lot of examples to share, and Patrick is going to go over some of the things he did this morning. We're going to talk about NVIDIA. Everybody's been waiting for it. So we're going to show you how you can use our data to kind of like analyze, and how can you get a sense of the trend or the sentiment looking at option data. But before we go into that, and then we're going to answer all your questions. Tomorrow, we're going to be announcing the start of the MenthorQ trading challenge, right? So we had a lot of new signups last couple of weeks. So we want to, just run a nice competition. There's been a lot of activity in the trading rooms. So the challenge will start next week. So it's Memorial Day on Monday. So we're going to start from Tuesday till Monday, June 3rd. So it's going to be 5 days. We've created a channel that you find here where you're going to be able to submit your trade for the day. And each person can submit 1 trade per day. And the one who's going to get the most upvotes on Discord will win at the end of the day. We're going to give away 5 prizes, which is going to be 5 yearly membership to the MenthorQ Premium membership and 5 Academy. So if you're already a customer and you already purchased, no worries. We're going to give you a full refund that you're going to access for free for 12 months. If you just signed up, then it's great, because then you're going to get a free membership for the rest of the year. So we're going to start this on Tuesday. The rules are simple. You submit 1 trade per day. You need to show us your theory or your thesis, and it has to be using the MenthorQ data or any of the models that you have access, futures, stocks, etc. And then at the end of the day, the trader is going to get the most upvotes on Discord will win. And we'll support you guys throughout the process. So we're going to have a lot of like insights next week and so on. So good luck to everyone. And and hope to see you there. And also, in order to give you the option to participate, we're going to run a special promotion tomorrow for 24 hours where new users can sign up again and join at the discount that we had during the launch. So good luck to everyone. Okay, so now we're going to go into what the moment that everybody's been waiting for today, which is really the reports from NVIDIA, right? So everybody was really concerned about it. And a lot of questions came. It's like, how can we use your data to understand where the market can go and where NVIDIA can go? So we wrote a really nice note yesterday that we sent this morning. And essentially, obviously, the models cannot predict the future, right? There's no way for us to know NVIDIA's earnings report or data. But what we can look at is really how the position in the option market is changing over time. So what we did here is we analyzed the positioning on NVIDIA by looking at the net gamma exposure chart on the 15th of May, so like a week ago. And then we look at the positioning the day before yesterday, so 2 days ago on the 21st. So as you can see, there's a lot of bullish positioning from the 15th to the 21st. We've seen a lot of puts piling up, especially at the 750 level. So a lot of investors were kind of like starting to protect themselves in case of a bad earnings. But overall, we saw like a very positive sentiment. We can also see that the core resistance level, which is the level where we see the most call net gamma, shifted from 950 to 1000, right? So again, we want to monitor this and we want to see how this change over time. So let's go into how we can do that. So we can go on the query bot. And so first of all, you have access to the NVIDIA channel where you can look at historical data here. But in order to do it much faster, you can go on the query bot and you can run the command. And we can run our NVIDIA, and then we can take in the data from yesterday and go back in time up to 5 days in the past. So what we want to monitor is really not only the change in the bars, but also the change in the levels. So we want to understand, okay, like as the market rolled the position higher, as the market rolled the position lower. So for example, 2 days ago on the 20th, there was a lot of put activity at the 700 level, and now we're at 750. If we go back again, we can see how this has changed. So again, going back on the 16th, our core resistance was at 950. So in order to see this is essentially you want to understand what the option market is telling us. right? What are people doing? And this is how we can look at that. We want to also introduce you to some new tools that we're going to come up with and we're going to develop in the next few months, which is our skews. So again, this is the risk reversal skew, which is the 25 delta call versus the 25 delta put. The lower the number, the more activity there is on calls. So you can see that over this time, there's been a lot of call buying. So the implied volatility on the calls was higher than the implied volatility on the put on the out of the money calls and puts. So, and again, like what is the option market telling us? So these are going to be new tools that are going to come in the next release. So just, you know, be ready. We're going to do more and more of those, and there's going to be more models coming soon. I don't know if you have anything to add, Patrick, here.
I think everything was good, but what we can see, and we was monitoring this in the morning, is also the VIX was changing. If you're going to the VIX and you're looking to the JAX, so then we can see that it was also changing. So that you can see that we have also some change in the JAX. So it was also a clear signal. When you see this the day before and today, it's like yeah, it was also changing.
Yeah.
It can give you also some little idea how the market is working. Especially with the option what we have on MenthorQ, you can go to the other day, so you can look in the past and then see how the VIX is forming. So is this more bullish? Is this more bearish? Did we see some momentum shift in the VIX? So this can give you a nice trade idea for the stock market opening. And this is something where we was looking today, especially me and Steve.
Yeah, that's true. And then obviously you can obviously look at the levels. So clearly there was a lot of bullish momentum. So we open up like a almost a 10% gap. The price moved above this level and stayed below kind of like the 1050, which was also the next kind of like big like support level from the option market. So if we go back on our NetJax chart on NVIDIA, we see this piling up on the 950 level, and then the next one 1050 level, sorry, and then the next one is 1100 there. Yeah, so again, using those also can be very useful to understand where the trend is going, what the sentiment is, our investor positioning themselves. Right. So with that, I'm gonna go back to you, Patrick. I'm gonna let you share, and if you share more tricks on what you did today.
Yeah, so as you know, I'm a futures trader, and yeah, so the MenthorQ community was pushing me to gold and to oil. So we were seeing many activity on gold, on oil, especially the last few days. So we get really crazy moves. And you know, I'm trading with the blind spots. And I was thinking, okay, if I'm trading the blind spots on the NQ, sometimes on the ES, how would it look like when I'm focused a little bit more on gold and on oil? So, and this was something what I was doing today. I can share this with you really quick. Let's go to the Discord. So today, let me see if you can see my screen. Everything can see it, I think. So today I was adding the blind spots for the CL, so the ETF, USO. I was recalculating for you all the blind spot levels and all the stuff. And here you have to, here you can copy this, and also for the gold futures. And when we're going now to my trading view and we see the levels, let me open this really quick, then it feels like mind-blowing for me. It's like, hey, the only thing what you can do is you have to trust the levels. And to be really honest, the first time that I'm really trading gold and oil, for me it was really hard to trust the levels because I was never trading gold, but it was working perfectly. let's take a look now first on crude oil. So this morning, so we was open 9:30. We was on the CL put support, and also we came here to the USO level. We came here to the blind spot from the USO, and we closed on the 1-day minimum. So for me, this is a nice confirmation. No matter what you trade, you have only to find the right blind spots for you. Add this to your chart, and then it works maybe perfectly like what it's doing for me. And it's not only that this works on oil, it works also on gold. And let's check gold, 9:30. So it was, we came to the 1-day minimum, then we came to the GLD call resistance, straight down to the GLD 1-day expected move minimum, and maybe we will close now on the put support from the futures level. So this is, I think, one of the best teaching. So it's for me also mind-blowing, because I'm not trading so often gold and oil, but you have to find the right blind spots for the things what you're trading. Add this to your chart, and I think it can help you really, really crazy in your trading style. This is one of the biggest lessons what I can give you today. If you trade, for example, Nvidia, maybe add on the blind spot from AMD or the technology ETF. If you trade NG, maybe put on the natural gas ETF. So no matter what you trade, find the correlation. If you have no answer, what can maybe the right correlation for you? Ask the community. We have so many good experienced trader, and you're not alone. Yeah. I'm 100% sure the community will help you. And if you have some issues with calculating the ratios, how you can calculate this, we have crazy people who are working with Excel, who are doing really crazy calculation. It's easily that you get the help. Yeah. And this is something what I can give you today. And it works so nice, so perfectly. But it was a little bit stressful for me also, because I have the gold open, I have oil open, and I have the Nasdaq open, and everything goes down. It was so crazy today. I share everything today with you in the future channel, where my trades was, my full P&L, my gold trades. You can find today everything. I think we have to go down to the button. Yeah, so here my P&Ls, my entries, my exit, everything. Then I add again, because the Nasdaq came down so nice. Yeah, that's amazing. It works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. I think we had a lot of people in the chat. So again, like, we have a very active trading chat here. So there's a lot of people that do, like, custom calculation. They create their own blind spot. They share their chart. So it's pretty amazing to see how kind of like it's working, and the community supporting each other, which is great.
Yeah, and Killy Pips is one example, and he was bringing on, I think, on his chart, where maybe you don't think there's any correlation. You put on the SPX. So it's leading index, the S&P 500. So sometimes maybe you have to think like crazy things. And put this on your chart and see if you get really nice support and resistance, and if this will be react. And that's the main goal on the blind spots. It's support and resistance with underlying options who name this range. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so today, we're getting ready for the long weekend. So tomorrow potentially is going to be a more quiet day. Typically, we're going to have a long weekend. So it's Memorial Day. So market is closed on Monday. So yeah, I think it was a great week for everyone. Do you guys have any questions on what we haven't covered so far?
Yeah, we have some question. Patrick, are you just trading with trend? And on normal day, what do you use to define trend or move trend and counter trend? Yeah, so I'm trading always with the momentum and with the institutional. So there's only one single rule: follow the money. If you see some levels and all the stuff, so what I'm doing on my side is I have also some options order flow open to see when big orders coming into the market. I'm reading the tape also, filter out the noises on both sides and looking only for the big orders who came in. The most important thing is we get so many data outside from the trading spaces, but you have to find a way how you can filter out for you the noises and focus only on the thing what's matter. And for me is I have my personally filters on trading tapes, on the futures tape, on options order flow, and also on other institutional things. And I'm following the momentum, I'm following the institutionals. Sometimes I can say it really nice. Sometimes it makes no sense when you see some big order coming into the market and the market is not reacting on this. But then I have only to ask myself, when some big institutional place an order from X million, this has some sense. He have maybe some information who's at the moment not open for us. And I can say you most of the time, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes later, you see some market shift. And it's crazy. It works most of the time. And this is something what I'm doing, what I'm anti-Hisatbot. And yeah, last but not least, we have the Q levels. If we came to some big resistance levels like call resistance, put support, high volume, also the 0 DTE levels, this is something meaningful. And if we see some correction on this, take it.
Yeah. And I think there's a question on what time frame should we use to look at the levels. So I think the answer really depends on your strategy. So the levels are market reaction zones. So there's not really a time frame that you want to use, but it depends. Like, for example, Patrick is scalping the market, so he's probably like in and out pretty quickly. So you probably would use like, I don't know, 1 minute time frame or less. But some other traders might be more like, using a swing trade for the day and like maybe like looking at a 5-minute chart. So it really depends on the strategy that you want to imply. If you are selling premiums, maybe you don't need to look at the market like minute by minute. You just want to make sure that the market stays within the range. So it really depends on the type of strategy that you are working on.
Yeah, and I can add something what Fabio's saying. I'm 100% agree with this. But at the end, when we have now the daily levels, like what we have now on NVIDIA, I will say to you, go to the 1 hour, 4 hour chart and look to the bigger picture and see if you have on the call resistance, where at the moment the call resistance are, or the put support, or the 1-day move max or minimum, if there is also in the market some big reaction zone. If you see in the market from the past a big reaction zone and it's matched with the gamma levels from today, then you should be map out this that okay, in the past there was something, and this must be something really important so that you be aware.
Yeah.
No matter what time frame you trade, I will look back always in the past to see what reaction was in the past.
Yeah. Then we have a question from Pablo, that high put positions on VIX wouldn't be bearish indication for VIX. Yes, so obviously the VIX is the inverse correlation of the market. So obviously the market was, people protecting on the VIX means that they are bullish, the index. So they are buying, protection on the VIX, hoping that the volatility will crash and potentially benefit from that. So yeah, there's an inverse correlation between the stock market and the VIX. And, Patrick monitors it very closely because typically the VIX brings a lot of momentum too. And maybe you want to share, Patrick, how you use the VIX in this case.
Yeah, so I was sharing this yesterday also in the futures room. So it's I cannot explain really easy. So the first rule is never fight the VIX. If you see that the VIX have a strong momentum, it goes maybe to the upside or to the downside, then there is something in the market. So we must ask us why the VIX is rising. So maybe people want to hedge something. So this means they have pressure at the moment. And when the market is under pressure, we don't fight the VIX. So if you see like what we see on yesterday, if the VIX came strong down, of course, we not short the market because we don't fight the VIX. We take the hands off from the short. We just wait until the VIX have some correction. This is one of the biggest rule what I'm looking for. I'm looking always for on what gamma level is the VIX at the moment. Is this a strong gamma level? Are we now on the call resistance? If we're on the put support, or what gamma level we are? And second, I'm looking to the momentum from the VIX. If the momentum is really strong on the VIX, if the momentum is really strong, I never fight this. I going with the momentum from the VIX. That's something that I can share with you.
Yeah, it's great. So Dean, first time joining, which session? Obviously, I already replied. So we covered the blind spots in the first lesson and the second training lesson as well. So the recordings are on Discord, they're on YouTube. So yeah, we cover it in great details, but if you guys have any more questions there, we can go over again.
But I can add something really quick. Booyah, hope this is right. Could you explain how to put the ratios in for the blind spots? So here's a simple rule. So today when I was adding the blind spots from gold and from oil, I was using ChatGPT. Simple and easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ask ChatGPT, put in the data to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT the right questions, and you get it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Another question from Hero: could we display in the future the Q levels on an order book? The goal is, yes, we are looking to develop like an app where you're going to have not only our models, but also like, you know, order flow data, options data in real time. We're not there yet, but we are working on it.
And I get also some private message from Pablo. He asked me, hey, Patrick, thanks for ad. Since you said we could ask you some questions, I think it would be nice if you could review some of your trades or tell us a bit of what you look to enter a trade, or maybe how you are using Fibonacci's. I think you trade momentum. I'm usually looking for observer moves, but it would be interesting to know more about your tough process. Thanks. I can give you some example from today. It's I'm open my trading view again for you. Because I was really thinking about your question. Because when I'm trading, day trading, I don't think. It makes me crazy, but I don't think. I only react on the market. And this is one of the biggest lessons. So I was shorting the NQ on the opening, as you can see on the futures channel today. So what I was seeing is we came down with strong momentum. We came to the QQQ core resistance. We came down to the QQQ one-day move max. So we were speaking about the one-day expected move, I think also in the first recording or in the second recording, I don't know, but we were speaking about this. And we were saying when we above the one-day expected move max, most of the time we are overbought. And this was something what was in my mind. So at the moment, the market is overbought. I was thinking, okay, we have the NVIDIA earnings, and maybe the NVIDIA earnings was pushed the market a little bit too high. Maybe for NVIDIA it's good, but on the overall picture, maybe we are a little bit too high. And if I was seeing we breaking the one-day expected move, boom, I was shorting because we get strong candles to the downside. So I'm looking in the candles. If we have strong momentum in the candle like this is for me a nice entry. Here we have also strong momentum to the downside. This is something where I'm looking for. And if I have any trading idea before, no, I have never any trading idea because I'm going always in the market with an open mind. I'm following only the momentum. I'm following only the market. I'm following only the institutions. I'm following only the money. That's it. I have no idea. Sometimes I have no trading idea because I'm following only the money. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying this, we get the question, how I prepare for the NVIDIA earnings. And I was saying to you, everybody have a plan until you get the punch in the face. It's from Mike Tyson. And it's the same from the market. You can have a plan, and when the plan is not working, so maybe you were thinking today, I have to go long. And then I will say most of the people will miss the short because they're looking for the longs, or they're getting in the high short and will taking the longs because they're thinking the market must be go crazy today after NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And that's so dangerous. So this is why I have always an open mind. This was my biggest learning in my years of trading. Never have a plan. Follow only the momentum, follow the money, follow the institutionals, and trust the limit.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good. Yeah. There's a question, will you still bring an add-on for NinjaTrader? Yes, we are working on one. The testing is going really well. So hopefully we're going to have an integration very soon, probably in the June timeframe. That's going to be exciting. And yeah, that's going to add value because then you'll be able to use basically the levels directly on NinjaTrader, which is a trading platform used by over 500,000 traders, which is great.
That's not great. This is awesome.
Yeah. And then after that, we're gonna look at other integrations. So there's like different on our mind. So we're gonna like try and explore other venues so that we can kind of like integrate into more platforms.
Yeah. And maybe I can share with you something because Pablo, you asked me a question about my trading ideas, my trading setups, and all this stuff. And today I was working with some other peoples privately, and there was some person they taking few losses the last days, big losses. And we were speaking about momentum. So as a trader, your main goal is first that you have momentum on your side, that you be green, that you feel good, and that you trust yourself. And for him, it was so blocked because of his losses before when we get the down move. But if you have maybe, for example, and strong loss, or you have a big drawdown and you don't trust yourself so much, the biggest learning for you must be that you build your momentum. And maybe you won't go short, but you get scary. But then take the smallest position possible that the losses doesn't hurt you, and take it so that you can build your momentum. And the trader was so happy today because he take the trade. He was making only $50, but he say, "Hey Patrick, it's so nice. Now I feel really good because now I know myself. I can trust myself again. I know my trading setups works." And he's now building again his momentum. And this is something what I can say to you to building and trading system. So for me, the most important trading system is momentum. That I can feel good, that I trust myself, and that I have no worries to enter a trade. Also, I have no worries to take the losses and all this that momentum. Yeah.
So what, like, question that I get, so you've been trading for about 20 years almost,
Yes.
since 2006. What was the worst time of your career, and what was the game changer for you?
Oh, what was the worst time for me is, okay, it's quite simple. So the worst time is if you have no money to trade.
Mhm.
That's the biggest, that's the worst time. So if you take too much leverage on a trade, if you oversize and you take the loss and it wipes out your account, and you sit there and have to watch the market, because first you have to fund an account and all the start steps, and you see the great moves and you cannot trade. That's the biggest pain for me and the worst case ever. And this is something what changed also my mindset. For this reason, I was never taking any more big sizes that this will be affect my tomorrow, because we trade always for tomorrow. If you take trades today's, you take trades for tomorrow, that you can come back tomorrow. And this was one of my biggest lessons. And this was a mind shift also. You trade always for tomorrow. You will not sitting on the bench and looking to the market how the big players play. And you cannot play.
Nice.
Yeah, Pablo, nice. Momentum is king.
Mhm.
And this is for you, Pablo. The answer.
Nice. Hey guys, more questions? Questions on the platform, question on Patrick's experience. You know, like feel free to ask. This is what the session is about. It's for you guys.
All right. When people typing at the moment, I have a question for you, Fabio. So when you was working with hedge funds and all the stuff, and
Yeah.
they need the data. So it's the same what we need as a retail trader. So we need the data. But can you share with us something how they was filter out all the noises? So what is the process from the big hedge funds? Do you
Yeah.
have any insights on this, and how we can
Yeah.
do this as retail traders?
Yeah, so there is an important concept within. So the hedge funds that are using data are in a like category of finance, which is called quantitative finance, right? So the way they're structured is completely different from the traditional asset manager. So when a traditional asset manager would have an analyst, a portfolio manager, a trader, and maybe like a risk manager, the quant fund would have a quant portfolio manager, a quant trader, and a quant analyst, right? So they are not the typical analyst that would know everything about balance sheet, valuation. They are data-driven profiles, right? So they are data science, they are like quants, they're like developers, like engineers, AI, machine learning. So what they do is really they build all these data pipelines, taking in as much data as they can. Data can be traditional price data, technicals, fundamentals, news feeds, like the typical data that you would find in places like Bloomberg. But then they would go and buy alternative data, so data that can give them an edge that is not present in the market. So the option data is one of that, right? So if you can manage the option data, this is what we're trying to do here, is there's going to be a lot of information that you can get out of it that can then compensate your theory and your strategy. But like there's like other complicated data sets that they use, like like credit card information, geolocation data, sentiment data. They would, during 2021, they would scrape Reddit to understand where the retail traders are trading, so they can place their bets against that. So obviously, this is something that they have access to because they have hundreds of PhD that work for them, and obviously they develop the technology. So like, yeah, so this is how kind of like they use the data. And then there's a big concept in finance, which is really that alpha would become beta once more people start using the same strategy, right? So for example, let's imagine that you use a momentum strategy and you use maybe moving averages and Fibonacci and whatever. And more traders start learning about this strategy and more traders start to use this strategy. The alpha that you develop with your strategy will eventually decay as more people are using the same signals. So, hedge funds are trying to always develop an additional alpha that will stay in the market until more people will then find out about the hedge, and then they will start using the same strategy, and then they would, refine the strategy all over again to be able to build that momentum on top of that strategy. Let me know if that answers your question. I think we lost Patrick. Okay, so while Patrick comes back, I think there's a question on from Barry. So can you explain an efficient process to gather and insert levels into TradingView if you are covering more than one asset? So the best way would be to go on the bot, and we're going to use our list command. And you can add up to 5 tickers at a time. So then simply copy this. So you can either do it 2 ways. So one, you copy this and you add them to the indicator. Again, we can add more than one indicator. So you can add whatever, how many you want. So you can add those in the text box, or you can create a TXT file, a Word document, and you can import them. Just bear in mind that there are some limitations. So for every text input, there are 4,000 characters that you can upload. So that's why we have multiple text input, and that's why you can have multiple indicators. So you can have 4,000, which is about 12 tickers per input. So if you have more than that, then you can add more and add them there. So yeah, that would be the best way, Barry. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. All right. So Barry, what I was saying is the best way would be to use the list command, copy, paste into one of the inputs, or create a TXT file that you can just copy paste and then add the levels directly into the indicator. There are a limit of 4,000 characters per input, which is about 12 tickers. So you can upload up to 12 tickers for every input box here. So we lost you, but I don't know if I answered your question, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, essentially, the big guys are really trying to create additional alpha from the data. So they are trying to get access to as much data as possible so that they can get more information about the company. Like, maybe there's a signal coming from Reddit on Apple because a lot of retail investors are shorting it or buying call options, right? So then they want to know that. Or maybe there's a Discord group that is talking about Apple and they want to know that. Or maybe there's a Twitter feed that talks about Apple or Nvidia, so they want to know that.
Yeah. And this is something what is for us retail traders really important. So when institutional doing this, we must find smart tools who can deliver us also some information. And with MenthorQ, we have really powerful information about levels where institutionals looking for. And if we be honest, the options market is most of the time institutional space. So of course, we have the retail traders, yes, but at the end, it's all about institutionals.
So I'll give you a story. Like I had one time I have a job interview for this startup, and they were selling data on private jets. So they were monitoring executives that were flying private jets across the world. And this data is obviously public, but it's hard to get and it's hard to manage it. So they would sell this data to large institutions so that these institutions can forecast potential M&A transactions. So if Tim Cook is continuously flying to Dallas over the course of 2 years, why is he going there? What companies are there? What potential partnership can be there? So, again, this is alternative data that, big organizations try to get access to so that they can anticipate potential, events, potential move, etc.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting how the world is moving.
And I was seeing some question about where I get the options order flow. So first of all, you can Google this, but if you ask me personally, I'm going directly to CBO, and they have some tools like LiveWall or some other tools that I'm using.
On a volatile day, when a particular level is crossed several times, does the value of that level diminish? The answer is no, but obviously, like the data currently is looking at end of day positioning. So obviously there's things happening, like the NVIDIA example, nobody can predict what the results are. So people are positioning, the market closes at 4. So the option positioning closes at 4. So market is, position before the event, and then we'll react in the next morning. So essentially, some of the levels that you see in the chart, there's only a certain number of levels that we plot, but then if you access our other data points, so for example, if we go here on NVIDIA, there are other data that you can use. So for example, we have the top 10 positive and negative jacks. Sometimes these levels are further away from the ones that you see on the daily chart. Or you can also look at, for example, open interest and volume levels. You can also look at the metrics, and you can also look at the net gamma exposure chart as well. So it doesn't mean that the level is not valuable, but obviously, there's catalysts that would inflect that move, so you can't really forecast until that happens. Again, the model is not predicting the future, it's really showing you what can you expect by looking at the data.
Yeah.
I think that one there's a question from Barry, maybe that's for you, Patrick.
Yeah, let me know.
Let me answer, maybe there's a question. Are there times during the day that are more important for levels, open or last half an hour? So definitely, when you look at the time of the day, you need to also look at how Patrick said, when are the institutional trading? So typically institutions do not day trade. They tend to send the orders before midday, so between open and about 11:30, 12. And then they tend to send the order in the last hour of the day, right? So those are like really the hot hour. These are also a very hot moment for zero DTEs. So if you are trading SPX, and suddenly, the price is reaching those levels towards the end of the day, there's going to be a big reaction because there's less time to expiration. So, those are the time that you want to monitor, depending on obviously the asset that you trade, but, obviously open till kind of like midday, and then the last hour, and typically last half an hour is very key as well for the positioning on the next day.
Yeah, correctly. And that's most of the time my scalping time when I'm scalping. Yeah. So I'm scalping only when we have the momentum, when the institutional comes, otherwise it makes no sense. Yeah. And Amman, is there a way to add VIX levels on NQ chart to find VIX blind spot things? The simple answer is yes. If you need some nice blind spots, I can say to you, go into the trading chat or premium chat and look for Killy Pips. Killy Pips is sharing his VIX levels. He's he's very good with this. He make this guy Killy Pips. He share his VIX levels, and if he have this notify NQ, ask him. We are in community. We are strong together. We help us together. Send a message or write a comment. Hey, do you have this for NQ? And that's it.
Yeah.
And also what I want to share with you, can you go in the search box, Fabio? It's on the right side on the top. For every one of you, if you're looking for something some user who posts something. If you're looking for some simple like SPY or something like this, you can use also the search box. And then you get some really nice information about the SPY. What we're talking in the Discord at the moment about SPY, what we're talking about VIX, which user is really experienced at the moment with VIX, who are looking so strong for the VIX. Use this and you find so many valuable information. I'm doing this also. If I'm looking for gold, if I'm looking for oil, I'm tip in the search box, and then I get the users where active. I have not to go on the full trading chat. I have not to go on a full premium chat. Sometimes it can be really noisy, especially when it's not something about what you're looking for. Then the search box is very powerful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Another very powerful tool that we have on the website is our guides. So, you know, like I know it's a lot of text, but we have a lot of documentation here that will help you understand everything that we do, as well as understand, you know, basic concept coming from the option market. So you have sections here about the option market. You have sections here about all our levels. So make sure you're familiar with what the levels are. Why is the core resistance, you know, a reaction zone? Why is the put support a reaction zone? How can I use it? You know, like what is the 1-day expected move indicator? You know, like, can you show me some backtesting data? So we have backtesting data there. So access, use the documentation, you know, this is free for everyone. We spend a lot of time, you know, putting this together so that everyone has it. We also have dedicated articles on every strategy. So like, for example, if you are looking to start doing, you know, iron condors, like some of the traders in our team, you know, like just come here and make sure that you're familiar with what the profit and loss, you know, the chart is. What are you doing? What is the strategy, right? What does it entail? What is the payoff? You know, like when can I lose money? When can I make money? And we have like about 20 different strategies here. We have dividend strategies here as well. So income strategies, like how can I trade options with dividends? Or we have futures case study here. Like, so how can I trade the NQ and the ES using gamma levels? So these are very good case studies of past examples. Some of these are Patrick's trades that we took from, you know, from Discord, from Twitter. Yeah, showing you how that can be done. How can you use that? Yeah, so I think there's a lot of data here that it's available for you.
Yeah, and I have also some question for Fabio, because we get this question very, very often. And I think, Fabio, you are the good one to explain this. So what routine is a good routine for someone who is maybe new with our MenthorQ, and how he can start? So what should, maybe for example, he trading the SPY, so, and he will be completely informed about the SPY. So what steps he should do that this doesn't cost so much time, but he is well informed?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is like, yeah, we got a question actually today as well about this. So again, this goes into the steps that we have. So first of all, we have a MenthorQ setup guide that will go through exactly what Patrick is asking. So step by step, like what data do you provide? Why is it important? How should I start, right? You know, so step by step. But essentially, the answer is if you find an asset that you care about and is part of the channels here, for example, the SPY, take a look at the data that is available there, and also take a look at the order. So like there is a reason why we follow a specific order there. We also have another documentation here, which is very helpful, which is get set up with MenthorQ in less than 5 minutes. So let's go through this. So essentially, you can find basically, no, actually, this one is, yeah. this one. Okay, so there's a video. So step one is you want to build your trading view levels. So again, I can go on the bot, I can look at the trading view levels, I can copy this text, I can put it into my chart. So I can go here and I can, let's put it here. So now I can go to SPY. And now I have my levels for the day, right? So that's step number one. Step number two is looking at the liquidity regime. So it's very important to understand the difference between positive and negative gamma and how that could change the volatility of your asset. So again, you always want to trade in the right side of volatility, right? So you always want to know, is it going to be a volatile day or is it going to be like a non-volatile day, right? So again, for the strategy that Patrick is doing, he wants volatility. He is benefiting from volatility. But if you are selling options, then you want volatility probably to be low because you want to like benefit from the passage of time, right? So based on the strategy, the next step is to look at the liquidity regime. So we are in a negative gamma condition. So in negative gamma, market makers hedge differently than in positive gamma. So you knowing that is very important. Where can I find out about this? So we have documentation here. So if you go on our blog, and you go under option data, here you have positive and negative gamma. There's a guide really dedicated to this concept, very important. Understand if the day is going to be volatile. How much can we expect the market to move today? Is it going to be more volatile than yesterday? And so on. How is the implied volatility versus the historical volatility? Then we want to look at the main chart. So if we go back to our documentation, then we want to look at the table, our key level table, right? So we can go back on our chart, and here we have the key levels. So we know that we have the primary levels, which is the core resistance, put support, high vol level. We want to know where they are. We can always see them here directly in the chart on TradingView. We also want to monitor how distant we are from the high vol level, which we can find here. The high vol level is really the volatility shift between positive and negative gamma. And then we want to know the open interest and jacks and so on. So you can learn more about this as well. Then the next step is understanding our net gamma exposure and what are the levels that are going to be a reaction zone. Is the market, positioned more on the call side, or is it positioned more on the put side? Very important. Then we can monitor volume and open interest. We want to know where the big open interest nodes are. This is what we do all day. We want to understand, okay, are there a lot of open option on certain strikes, right? And where is the volume coming from? IV per open interest. This one is another important one. We want to monitor implied volatility versus open interest. We want to see if there is a lot of implied volatility for certain strike prices and so on. So these are all models that you can access directly through here just by scrolling down. They follow an order, so follow the order with it, understand the data. We also want to look at the matrix. An example, I'm going to give you like a really nice trick. So the matrix is really simplifying the option chain, right? The option chain is very complicated. Maybe you don't want to know everything about the option chain, but maybe you want to know the key point, which is really, I'm doing a 7 days trade. What should I be looking for? Like, what is the market doing in those 7 days? So we simplify this for you. We tell you how much gamma is expiring in that expiration, how much delta is expiring, what are the ratio, what is the volume, and then you also have very important points here, which are the levels for that expiration and the move for that expiration. So again, we can forecast based on forward-looking volatility that the price will stay between plus or minus 9 points on the SPY from now to the 31st. So again, it's not really telling you, it's really like trying to forecast the volatility for that expiration, right? That's what the model is trying to do. So again, for you is a very important clue, because if you know that there is a high correlation of that, then you can kind of like monitor your strategy based on those data points. And then term structure, this is a bit more complicated. And then you also want to go into more of the systematic models. So you want to follow the liquidity. We have CTAs models. Again, we have more documentation, but essentially, you know, those would be the steps that you would take if you study with us and if you look at an asset and you start using the models.
Yeah, that's a good point. And this is how you can build also some morning routine. It needs maybe for you in the future 1, 2, 3 minutes, and you get the big picture and you have the big picture in your mind. This is, for example, what I'm doing every time what Fabio is saying with the VIX, because for me as a futures trader, the volatility index is very important. I think it's much more important than to have the QQQ or the NQ options information. So the VIX is for me the leader.
Yeah.
And it needs only 2 minutes. And champs, you have to do your homework. And if you ask for a routine, this is a highly recommend routine.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I have also some questions. Can I ask a re-question, Fabio? You're open?
Of course.
What should the people do when we have OPEX? Where we have to look for on OPEX?
Yeah. For OPEX, the best place would be the option matrix. So, so what you want to see essentially, so OPEX is the option expiration, which is the monthly expiration, typically on the 3rd Friday of every month. And you want to monitor for sure the SPX and the VIX option expiration, but you can do the same for every asset, so every stock or ETF. Essentially, you can come here and you can, the one important key would be, and let's actually get the SPX one. So if we go up here on SPX and okay. So the June OPEX is going to be this one, June 21st. So you first want to understand how much gamma is expiring on that expiration, right? So 27% of gamma is expiring on June 21st, right? That means that once those options are expired, if they are expiring out of the money, then that gamma will disappear. And therefore, there's not going to be any need for market makers to hedge on those expiration if those options are out of the money. So typically, you know, we see a big pinning effect towards OPEX around certain strike prices. Then we see like technical moves following OPEX. So we talk a lot about OPEX on, you know, on our daily report. So yeah, it's definitely like worth like looking at and understanding, you know, especially this data point, how much gamma, how much delta, how much open interest is expiring on that expiration, and see how big that is. You know, sometimes there is 50% jacks, 60%. So that's a big expiration and a big day for that asset.
Yeah, and I can say to you, if you have not so much experience with the data and what is all this meaning, so the best case is observe the market when we have OPEX. You have the data and observe the market and see what was going on, and maybe go back to the last OPEX and see what was going on. And then you can learn and build your experience with all the information.
And again, going back, we have a guide for that. So there's documentation here that will help you. So like, for example, this will show you a chart of what happens typically after the SPX OPEX. So we have, you know, a pinning effect happening there. Then the technical moves, right? So it, you know, we really spend a lot of time explaining this. So a lot of good information here. Again, the community is there. We're there to help. But like this, you know, just look at the guys because there's going to be an explanation there very, very easily. And we have here, can we have the VIX on the graphic? You're looking for the VIX future. We currently don't have the VIX future because we don't have access to that data currently. Potentially in the future we will, but at the moment we don't.
man, this would be nice. Then we have the VIX 1 day, then we have the VIX 5 day. Nice. Crazy, Fabio. Let's go.
No, it's just the more complicated stuff is getting access to the data. So that's
Yeah, I know.
so
when we see large positioning on 0 DTE SPX option on OPEX day, would you call it dealer's positioning? I mean, I would say that large money does not invest in 0 DTE options, but more longer term ones.
well, I mean, the thing is that like SPX has daily options, right? So, it could be that, investors have been buying certain expiration based on their thesis, and then when the day comes, they become 0 DTEs and they're expiring. So it really, they're clearly not day trading 0 DTEs, but they could be positioning based on different theories. So really, you can't really say that large investors do not trade 0 DTEs because there's a big volume of investors trading 0 DTEs, which is not just the retail. Like obviously there's a lot of retail traders that do that, but also like, large money managers are using, are hedging using SPX options, which have daily expirations, right? Yeah, so definitely like, large institutions do not day trade like, for example, retail do, but they are going to make bets on potential moves. So they probably are going to position against, like a CPI data or like, like Fed speak. So they are going to make bets on that, and they might use 0 DT options for that. And quantitative funds definitely do like intraday trading. So they definitely do that.
Yeah, 2T. And I have also a question, Fabio. So, no, Barry first. Are 0 DTE blind spots levels roughly correct to vanilla ES 0 DTE? And I have no idea what is vanilla ES 0 DTE.
Yeah, so I think Barry is asking if there is a correlation between the blind spot that you're using. So I think Barry is using mostly ES data. You're obviously using SPX, SPY.
Yes.
So I think that the answer is always the same, Barry, which is really you have access to both, and it's up to your strategy to understand what works better for you. Whether it's the derived levels, whether it's the direct levels. So I think definitely there's importance on the SPX options because that's where the most volume is. But definitely there is a lot of importance in the ES options too, because the futures option are very important as well.
And Barry, this was exactly my reason why I asked Fabio about how the funds reacting with the data. So they filter out the noises and they filter out what's working for them. So I can tell to you, Barry, use this, put this on your chart. If you see some value in this and you see some good support and resistance, and maybe you see some blind spots, perfect. Then you find something what is good for you. If not, take out the noise.
Yeah.
But you have to take it. Take it, test it. If it works, perfect. If not, take out the noise.
Yeah. And then I think, the good part is that you study from a test. I mean, I think the first time we were chatting about it, you just were testing it out, and then you started using it, and then you introduce it to the community. And now, like, we have users within, the community that are now like correlating really crazy at the VIX. So like USO on oil, like which is great. And
yeah, they're putting SPX blind spot on gold or oil.
yeah,
It makes sense. At the end, it makes sense.
Yeah,
So
no.
I think we rake the market maker more and more in trouble. So come on, I want to see this. That give us some trade ideas. So I love this, and I love the community. I love how how active we are, and how helpful we to each other. So if you find something what is really worth for others, share it, because other people share it also. Don't be shy, share it. There's no wrong, there's no right, there's always a better way. That's it.
Yeah. So man, to get VIX on NQ chart, at this time, you have to do what Patrick is doing, which is really converting manually the value. So if you download the data, you use ChatGPT, you need to upload using the NDX ticker. And the reason is that right now the indicator allows you to correlate levels for NDX and QQQ to NQ. But the new indicator that we're going to develop in June is going to allow you to do that much easier. So for now, it's a bit of a manual process, but we're working on a new indicator that will help doing this much faster.
UD, how about putting the stocks as blind spot that drive the SPX or NDX? Yeah, I have the same idea. I'm working on it, but I'm working really on it to have a blind spot for the Magnificent 7. So my whole idea is put all gamma wards, all put support, call resistance, put all together and have an average from everything, and then convert this to the NQ.
We have one of the users, Patrick, that is now downloading the membership, the member, like the percentage of the NDX, and is recalculating the level based on the percentage, and then so it's amazing to see how the community is helping each other there.
Yeah, I know, and we have also the idea to calculate it based on the market cap.
Yeah, exactly. So they are doing that.
So crazy things going on, and I'm 100% sure in a few months there are some market maker in our community, so they're looking for this.
The next step, we're going to create our own index.
Yeah, so for this reason, Judy, if you have any crazy idea, I think we have all open minds, and we are really open for this. Let's share it, and yeah, we can do it. And maybe it needs a few days, but then maybe you get some levels and your blind spot. So
yeah, and again, the product is evolving, right? So we are obviously a startup, but we are listening to the user feedback. So everything that makes sense, please share with us, and we'll make sure that we'll enhance the process, make it more streamlined, so that you can find more value from the tool. So that's the whole point for us right now. All right. Last 2 minutes of questions, guys. All right. I think no more questions so far. Yeah, I think it's great, Patrick. We can't hear you. No. No.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So my question is, what you was seeing in the last 30 days on the options market, is there something where we should be aware of? Is there something unusual in the big picture, because you're writing also the market commentary? Is there something what is at the moment in the play where we have to be aware of? Maybe you have some insights what you can share with us.
I mean, I think that, like what we do is, again, monitor the macro environment. Like, again, we are at all-time high. So obviously it's always a challenging moment, because is there going to be a pullback? And then we have the Fed, then we have the inflation, then so the market keeps going higher and higher. So obviously we want to monitor the macro events. Like that's what we should always do. And obviously, given that we are all at an all-time high, like, you know, we are in a more riskier environment, right? You know, like buying the market now is more risky than it would be if you are in a pullback, right? So monitoring that, monitoring the commodity space, we are, you know, monitoring what's happening with oil and gold. We did a webinar last month during the launch where we talk about oil and gold. You can find all the links in Discord. Yeah, so I would say like really monitor the activity, follow us for macro commentary, and really, you know, like there's the election this year, so that's going to be another one. So I think this year is going to be a very, very interesting one, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely. And then, yeah, so you have these stocks like continuing to rise, you know, like, yeah. That's why you need like new strategies, because if you simply follow, you know, the traditional one, like fundamental, like what is happening right now doesn't make sense, right? So that's why liquidity is becoming more and more relevant, right? Follow where the liquidity is going, you know, like, because if you invest just looking at fundamentals, like a lot of the momentum that you're seeing wouldn't make sense, right? So that's why following the option market, follow the liquidity is very important.
And be active in our community. Sometimes I'm seeing crazy comments where I'm never thinking about in this direction. So we have many experienced traders. We have many great minds. I repeat myself. Sorry for this, but sometimes you see some really nice conversation between 2 or 3 people, and they're talking about something. And then maybe connect the dots with maybe your idea or what do you think at the moment about the market and what other people saying about the market. And then use this also as indicator. So personally, I'm using the community also as an indicator. Is the community more bullish on something, or is the community more bearish? And why is the community bearish, or why is the community bullish? And what are the community are looking for? And this is something what is also some very important fact.
Yeah. So I think, I think this was a great session. A lot of example as takeaway, you know, like just make sure you use all the tools that we have for you, free resources, the community, everything that is on YouTube, Discord, you know, like on our website. So as a next step in our roadmap, there's going to be new indicator coming soon. There's going to be a NinjaTrader integration. We're going to release a new academy for technical analysis and momentum trading. We're going to have a big release in July with the intraday data and skews and all of, you know, nice other models. So like, you know, stay tuned. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And then we have the trading challenge starting next week. So hopefully you also can win some prizes next week. So we're excited for that. And Patrick will not be part of it. So you're not competing.
But Hero, I can answer your question. My average holding time is at the moment 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But this is a very big one, because as a scalper you take bigger positions to get something out from small moves. So I think 1 minute will be the perfect one, but 2 minutes it's okay. But at the moment the market gives us so clear moves, so clear down moves, clear up moves. So this is why my average holding time is at the moment a little bit high.
All right. Thank you again. Let's see, we have one more. No, nice. Thank you again, Patrick. And I know it's late for you. So
Everything is good.
sorry for the loss yesterday against the Italian team, but
if we win versus Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, everything is fine. All right, James.
Thank you,
See you.
guys.
Have a
Have a
nice
good
day.
one.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.